Did you know of, or did you yourself pull any pranks while you were in boot camp or on the set?
I was on the receiving end of quite a few.
Like what?
I'll just say this right now. My girlfriend's actually listening to this interview in South Africa. She's in South Africa now. Hey, baby. But my girlfriend at the time was a girl who was quite a good-looking girl, and I was the butt of many a joke. All the guys would pretend to sort of try and sort of flirt with my girlfriend and chat up my girlfriend, and sort of in front of me, and I was the butt of many jokes about that, and sort of, like, where's Tipper? Oh, who cares? Where's his bird? And all stuff like that. So that was where I got a lot of flack from everyone for that. But they just sort of to wind me up, kind of thing.
Always seems to happen for me. You know what? China from Canada wanted to know what your favorite memory was.
That's a tough one, actually. I think my actually, to be honest, the one that stands out and absolutely was meeting a Tipper in that sense. That absolutely stands out for me. On the set, on actually doing it, it was I think it was when I first walked onto the Carentan set, I thought it was absolutely incredible. It was just that you walked onto it and I thought, oh my god, they've actually built a town. They have built a town. That was an amazing experience, and the whole sequence of when we assault Carentan was quite intense. Filming that, because you got all these bombs going off and all these things, all guns and everything. The sequence where I get blown up, where Tipper gets hit by the shell. Basically, when the stunt coordinator comes up to me before we shoot that scene, and he goes, Bart, we got you're doing that scene where you get blown up tomorrow. We've got a stuntman ready to do it, but if you really want to do it yourself, we can probably sort it out. And I was very gung ho, obviously. I said, yeah, no, screw that. I do all my own stunts. No problem. And he's like, well, you sure? Yeah, no, absolutely, no stuntman, no stuntman. I don't want a stuntman doing the fun bit. I want to do that. And he's like, oh, okay, all right, fine. And so then the next day, I'm getting ready, and they sort of say, okay, just come down and set, and we'll walk you through the sequence of events and what's going to happen. Leave all your kit here. So I went down just in my uniform. I left my weapon. I left the bazooka. I left all my webbing, my helmet, all the grenades, everything. So I'm literally just walking down in my fatigues. And he walks me through and he says, okay, you're going to come through here, you go out the back of the house, you fire a couple of rounds, and you run back. And when you get to this point here, you'll see this thing in front of you flash. And I look up, and in front of the window is this massive sort of contraption that's as big as a big couch, and it's got these two circular, solid steel, sort of what looks like giant bullhorns at either side of it. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, okay, there's a light in the middle, and so the light will flash. And when the light flashes, you've got to jump behind that desk. And he turns around and he points behind me, and a good couple of meters behind me is this desk. I'm like, okay, yeah, fine, I can do that. So I hit the mark, turn around, take a couple of steps, and dive. I'm like, okay, good, right, I can do it. Yeah, so what happens when the light flashes? I do that and say, yeah. And then the bombs will go off. And I go,
the what?
Sorry?
Sorry?
Get behind that desk before the bombs go off. She says, you see those two circular big steel things there? There's a live mortar round in that one, and there's a live mortar round in that one, and they're going to go off and blow out the window when the light flashes. 4 seconds after the light flash. I'm thinking to myself, bollocks, what have I done? And everyone, and by this point also, they're walking me through it, and there's about a good 6 or 7 of the guys are there sort of watching. And so I go, there is absolutely no way I can change my mind now, because I'll be, I will be slaughtered by everyone.
Indeed.
So I thought, okay, all right, fine. It doesn't matter. 4 steps, dive behind the desk, fine, no problem. Sorted. And of course, we come to now. I'm very conscious of the fact I've got one take at this, because the place is going to blow up, and so resetting it and everything again, I'll never hear the end of it. I've got to nail it in one. So I go up and I do it, and of course we go for the take. And what I haven't thought about is that I'm going to be a good 20 kilos heavier with all my shit on me, all the bazooka and the lid and the grenades and the M1 and everything. And so when I turn to run, and I run back, and I got to hit the mark, I've got about 20 kilos of more momentum going forward. So I completely lose my balance, and I stumble over the mark, and there's about 2 seconds while I'm sort of picking myself up, seeing this light flash in the corner and thinking the bombs are going to go off now. And I sort of, with all of my strength I've got left, I sort of push myself off and dive for the desk. And mid-flight, literally the bombs go off, and the blood propelled me the rest of the way. And this giant heat wave sort of hits me, and the whole place collapses. Luckily, I've sort of kitted out. I've got the Mazette bag on my back. I've got the lid on, and so much crap on me that I'm sort of padded up. There's no problem, and a crash mat underneath me. But it was that moment when I stumbled forward, and I thought, I'm going to fall into the bombs.
Oh my God, that's awesome!
But yeah, that was the story of blowing that up, and that was a pretty memorable moment as well.
Did it make the scene better?
I'm not sure. I mean, when you actually watch it, you realise that there's the flash. As soon as I hit that mark, there's a flash when the bomb goes off, and then it cuts to Tipper walking out, I think. But it you don't actually see any of that. It was literally me getting blown up if I didn't get behind that desk.
Well, and that was one of the things that I found really interesting about the story from Ed himself on one of the websites. That he actually talks about when he got hit by that mortar shell, and it basically had landed almost at his feet.
Oh yeah, literally right by him. Yeah.
And
but it wasn't a mortar shell. I think it was a cannon shell. It was meant to be an one of those, not an anti-aircraft shell, but it wasn't actually mortar. It was actually a cannon shell.
On this website, it just says here, I had severe wounds. My right eye was destroyed, and both legs were broken, and 2 major shrapnel wounds in my right knee and left elbow added to the damage. I was conscious all the time and never dropped my weapons. So he got basically blowed up and still had the frame of mind not to drop anything that he was holding, and was basically conscious the entire time.
Yeah, he stumbled out of that, and he just I think actually I think it wasn't just in the series. It's Leacock sort of drags him out. I think it was actually Lipton was there as well. Came to get him, I seem to remember. And he was absolutely. And that was just his training. He didn't let go of it. He held on to everything, and he sort of picked himself up. And like when I spoke to him, he said he didn't. It was all like that. He just didn't know what was going on. He just walked out. He didn't realize. He knew something had happened to him, and he just couldn't realize what was going on. And he was completely shell shocked. But he was. I think I can't remember how long he was in hospital for. He was in hospital for a long time as well. Patching him up.
He spent a year in the Army hospital, and then at the age of 75 or better, he was out skiing.
Go skiing. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's an amazing group of individuals, man.